Hello everybody and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program, where you might be wondering, what is going on here? We've not seen any of this. That is correct. We, at the end of last episode, discovered that it's just giving us this contract again, so I want to get this cleaned up. I got these guys brought out here. It's two identical craft that I brought out here off camera, just to save a little bit of time. We're going to dock them up. It's not going to be particularly huge, and then we'll get this done, and we'll revert back to the same amount of cash that we had before, or close to it, anyway. As close as we can get via the cheat menu. And the target for this, of course, is to continue to get exploration missions. So we'll do this for right now. I want to check in setting this is our target. We should be in the correct 0.9 degrees off. Okay, we need to go, what, this direction? We're basically at the ascending node right now. No, other way. Okay, let's bring that right back around. Let's just get in plane here. 3, 2, 1, and that's close enough. Cool. So now we'll add a maneuver and we'll see what an intercept might look like. This is kind of terrible timing, so we're going to move this around like so. Okay. Just fine-tuning that in a little bit here. That's 1.5 kilometer separation, not too bad there. But we're just going to do this the quote-unquote right way this time, so that it doesn't, completely mess itself up. That's the idea here, anyway. So, we're going to make our way on around here. 1.7 kilometer separation is fine. That's more than close enough. So we're going to bring this on in here. That's going to be arriving in approximately 2 hours, so that's really not so bad. 0.4 second burn, huh? Let's thrust limit that a wee bit. Starting, that's maybe a bit much. 4 second burn, that's more like it. Cool. We're going to warp forward a little bit here, and that's of course going to be a pure retrograde burn. So 3, 2, 1, mark. Beautiful. There we go. And that's going to be close enough for now. We'll just warp our way on over this direction. Cool. And we're going to want to be in target retrograde mode. So we can see here that we're going to need to push our retrograde marker. I think actually at this moment I'm going to switch around to the prograde marker. We're going to pull our prograde marker over... Nope, this direction. What am I talking about? I was looking at the wrong marker there. Something about like that. I overshot it a little bit, but that's fine. So we're now going to flip over to the retrograde marker. We can now see that's a separation of 0.0 kilometers. We are possibly on a collision course. I don't know where that thing is. I saw it as I exited the map, but it's not showing up right now. Oh, there it is. It's barely visible against Minmus. Perfect. Okay, so that's fine. We're going to warp forward a little bit closer here, about a minute and a half. Cool. I'm definitely not used to approaching from above like this. This is not the usual directionality I take, but this is fine considering this is the way we're coming in, so it's okay. Beautiful. Keep in mind these are completely identical, and there's not any reason for them other than completing this contract. So we're going to kill our relative velocity here. Excellent. 3, 2, 1, and 0. Okay, so now all we're going to need to do is set this docking port as our target. We will control from here, and we're going to flip on around over this direction. There we go. Perfect. And we're going to do the same thing over here, setting this guy as our target, and we'll control from here, and flip right on over. Nice and easy here. I don't really care which one actually performs the docking maneuver, do I? Not really. I'm just going to realign here. Every time it's going to be ever so slightly off, every time I do that realign, but it should be good enough for now. Let's head on in very gently here. And adjusting... Oh, that's sensitive. Okay. That is a lot of RCS power. Noted. Okay. Well, we're just going to head right on in here a little bit. Adjusting that RCS a little bit, adjusting our roll. Actually, our roll should probably be something like this for purposes of solar panels, right? I feel like it should be. Okay, so there we go. We're docked up, and that is our contract naturally completing. Beautiful. So are we going to do anything with these guys? Honestly, they don't even have relay antennas on them. They're intended to be expended. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shut down this engine. We're going to go retrograde, and we're just going to set these onto an impact trajectory and crash them into Minmus. Beautiful. I believe we might be facing the wrong direction here. Yeah, I shut down the wrong engine, I think. So we're just going to do something like this. Are you the one that's thrust limited? You are. Let's unthrust limit you. And impact trajectory. Beautiful. And they're going to be out of here. So that's fine. We're going to now hop back to the Space Center. They are, of course, going to go boom, and that is exactly the point. Now, I need to pull up my recording for the last video and check what our final cash amount was. And for the purposes of doing that, I'm going to pause the recording here. I will be back in just a moment after I know how much cash we're supposed to have at this point. See you guys in a moment. Okay, I've got it pulled up here, and it looks like we're supposed to have 3456636 in terms of cash here. Now, we're not going to be able to exactly replicate that, but we'll just drop off, let's see here, by 100,000s. So we need to lose at least 400,000, like 410,000 here. So this should be at 345, and then 6636. So, this is the closest we can get without going under. And then we do something like this. And then we had 70.9 science as well. So we lose, at this point, like 20 science. That's about as close as we can get here. And what was our reputation at? It's hard to read. Slightly lower. I'm just going to ditch like 10 reputation here. That looks, I think, a little bit more. I think one more. That's a little lower than we were previously. Okay, cool. So now the question is, did that even work? If we go into our mission control, yeah, explore Eve. Wonderful. So orbit Eve and return to Kerbin from orbit of Eve. Honestly, we can do that with nothing more than literally the same craft that we did with our Eve flyby. That craft is more than capable of it. Hello, Minmus Docker. We do not need you anymore. You are kind of terrible to fly through the atmosphere. But we're going to grab the Eve flyby ship, which is in here somewhere. The Eve flyby machine. This guy here. It's overkill with the nuclear engines. I forgot about that. It's kind of ridiculous looking. This machine should be more than capable of entering orbit of Eve and returning. Now, we don't have any viewer contracts right now for that. And in fact, I took a look at the recent comments. We haven't had any viewer contracts coming in for a little while here. So make sure to leave some if you want me to perform any viewer contracts. It's been a little bit, it looks like. So here's a call for additional viewer contracts at this point. So we do have the contract still for the Duna Outpost from Snigby Life, and we are going to be doing that. I want to be clear. That's definitely happening. Right now, we have an exploration contract to go to Eve again, and I think that's exactly what we're going to do for the moment. Now, did we have a fuel flow issue here? No, we did not. That was on that slightly wonky Minmus lander. That's right. So for now, this should be fine. This will be more than capable. I do want to check our crew here. Yeah, we should definitely leave Jeb, Bill, Bob, and we should bring Valentina, Staney, Luke, because they really do need the XP. So we'll do that for now. We probably want to think about upgrading this antenna. We know that we did have a lack of Ketflix, right? So what's the range on this? 20M? Okay. The range on this is 15G, so that's a huge upgrade right there. I'm going to ditch the high gain antenna. We're going to put in the Communitron HG61 instead. I do not like these angles. Okay. We're going to turn off that snap toggling there. It's still doing that same angling. Awkward. Maybe if we did it on this side? No, I really don't like those angles. We're going to have to... Okay, now with the snapping, it seems to be good. Sure. I really do want it over here. Okay, now it's fine. Did I not have snapping on to begin with? I may have turned that off at some point. At any rate, it looks fine. So this'll do. We're not going to get a huge amount of extra science unless we do a low orbit around Eve. Which should be fine. Eve atmosphere starts at 90 kilometers, right? Yeah, 90 kilometers. So that should be okay. We had lots of spare Delta V last time, so this should be absolutely okay. We should have better communications. Our power is not going to be an issue. We have our science equipment with us. We're not going to be landing on anything. Yeah, it's just an Eve orbiter. So I think that we do this. Just a very, very slight modification here. And off we go. So we'll load on in, and eventually KSP will realize that we're attempting to launch a craft here. This is one of the major downsides of KSP-1 compared to KSP-2 is these loading times. KSP-2 does legitimately have faster loading times. Unfortunately, that game is just kind of borked right now. Hopefully they get it fixed. We could grab a seismic scan and atmospheric analysis right here, and we may actually want to do that since we apparently haven't done it yet. So we can collect that data. Both of those are reusable, so that'll be fine. I'm not going to be dipping into the Eve atmosphere to grab an atmospheric analysis, I don't think. That's pretty risky. The Eve atmosphere is insane, even if we're just dipping in like under a kilometer. Probably not. Okay, throttle up, SAS on, and off we go. We could grab some additional data here for the atmospheric analysis. May as well. Cool. So at least we've got that. How long do we have on those SRBs? About 40 seconds. Sounds good. We should definitely start heading on over here to the east, getting ourselves our gravity turn going. I'm a little concerned about the wiggliness that we've got going on here. So we might just want to get a lot of vertical altitude or just be a little bit more cautious with how we do this. As I attempt to move us over very, very gently here, I'm definitely noticing some wiggliness. But it's not the absolute worst thing in the world. We're drifting upwards, and I will attempt to fix that, even though it's not super important. We're about 10 seconds away right now from our SRBs detaching. That is noted. Checking in on our altitude. Our altitude looks good. Okay. I'm just going to lock to prograde now since we're 3 seconds from our SRBs detaching. It's not 3 real seconds. These are, I think, thrust limited. But we'll detach those, and off we go. We can see our apoapsis height is currently 52 kilometers. For the moment, I'm going to continue burning prograde here until that hits 70, and then we'll head to the horizon. Realistically, we should head to the horizon now, and so I will. Changed my mind on that one. Picking up a little bit of a roll as we head over to the horizon, but not a big deal there. That is a manageable situation. And we're just going to burn here until about 100 kilometers, as usual. Cool. We've got about 20 seconds of burn left in these tanks. And we're at 85 kilometers apoapsis right now. 86, 87, 88, 89, 90. Fantastic. Looks like this is going to just take us there. Just about. Okay, that'll do. Beautiful. So now, of course, we're going to need to circularize this orbit. Otherwise, we're going to come straight on back down, and we don't want that. So we're going to get this circularized here. Nice little prograde burn at the apoapsis. Beautiful. And we'll head on over. This burn was supposed to have started 8 seconds ago. That's not true. We just need to get out of the atmosphere. There we go. 1 minute, 45 seconds. That's more like it. Okay, our reaction wheel is struggling a bit here. I recall that being an issue previously. Come on, we can do it. It doesn't have a problem with the roll. That's for sure. I'm just going to continue to extend these solar panels. There we go. We do not want to run out of power at this time. That would be awful. But let's get in a position for this burn, and then we will warp. Cool. We're only warping a few seconds here, but that did stop our rotation, so that's fine. 50 seconds, 40, 30, 20, 10, and now. Fantastic. So about 500 meters per second to get us into orbit here. That first stage is definitely a little bit on the weak side. And in retrospect, I should have included a reaction wheel, a larger reaction wheel, like right here. That would have definitely eased this transition. But it should be fine. As we burn out this tank, we know that it gets better and better. And this is a manageable amount of movement. So that's all good. We're going to follow basically the same flight path to Eve that we did before. Except that we're actually going to enter orbit. Last time we had the capacity to enter orbit. We just chose not to. But we'll get ourselves some new science from low orbit there. I don't think we're going to orbit Ike. No, not Ike. Gilly. That's the one. I don't think we're going to orbit Gilly, just because we might get an exploration mission for that. And exploration missions are very, very lucrative. So I think that's going to be the plan for right now. We've got 15 more seconds left in our circularization burn. We can see here our periapsis is coming right on up. Fantastic. 30 meters per second. And that's good enough. Beautiful. So next, we're going to do our slingshot around the moon to exit the Kerbin system, as we usually do. I don't know that this is an ideal timing. We'll see. It's maybe a little too far over. Yeah, it's okay. What is this timing? Okay, yeah, we need to be out over this way. That makes more sense. That makes a lot more sense. Okay, so we want something like that. That's a reasonable slingshot there. It's not perfect. It's reasonable. I think we can save a few Delta V if we really wanted to squeeze the Delta V out of there. Yeah, we definitely could save some Delta V here. 840. 836. Yeah, this is getting down to the minimum amount of Delta V that we're going to save here. I think we'll call this good. This'll do for now. Yeah, that path looks good. We did manage to shave some 15 meters per second out of it. Not that we're really that concerned about it, to be honest. Let's get turned on over to that maneuver node. This is a very slow process, but this is going to be a relatively lengthy burn here. We're going to burn out, what, almost a third of this fuel, so that's fine. Cool. So let's get this warp underway. Beautiful. Commencing the burn in about a minute, 50 seconds, 40, 30, 20, 10, and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. And off we go. We are, of course, going to physics warp this. This is going to be about a 2-minute burn, and I would much rather it be about a 30-second burn in real time. So that'll be fine. It's a very stable design that we've got here, too. Absolutely no compression whatsoever. Oh, we did not extend this antenna. We should do that. There we go. That way we've got our cat flicks, and it'll all be good. 30 seconds on the burn. 20. 10. And let's come out of this warp. I can see that we are drifting off a little bit. I'm going to cut the engines, and there we go. Drifting off a little bit again. How is this actually looking here? We don't quite get there. Yeah, we don't quite get there. We definitely need to push in a little bit more here. That does the trick, in theory. Assuming it doesn't update between now and when we get out here. I may want to push it just a little bit further so that we basically guarantee it. There we go. That should do the trick. So we're going to warp over here since we can't warp past the moon's sphere of influence. Hello, moon. Goodbye, Kerbin. We will be back. Excellent. So about 2 hours to the moon's sphere. 1 hour. Cool. Once we escape, of course, we're going to be doing our inclination change. If we... Well, we should. We should do our inclination change, I think. Yeah, that'll be fine. We need to warp right on by the moon. Goodbye, moon. Thank you for the gravity. Always convenient. Farewell. Cool. So now we're re-entering the Kerbin sphere of influence. Now we need to exit here. And we have an 81-year-away Kerbin escape here. Hilarious. That is not what we're angling for sure. Where is our actual line here? Oh, it doesn't start until, like, down here. Gotcha. So we'll warp out over here for now. That's 2 weeks away. And that will bring us out away from the Kerbin sphere of influence and into the Kerbal sphere of influence. Fantastic. Of course, we are going to be setting Eve as our target. 2.1 degrees, and that ascending node is nicely located. I have no idea if Eve is in a good position for us to do a transfer or not. Did not time that at all. We'll see. So at this ascending node, of course, we are going to be burning here. Minus 2.1 degrees. Okay. Other direction. Apparently we're focusing the sun now. Exciting. Okay, that'll do. So we want to go to anti-normal here. Let's physics warp as we turn our way very, very slowly over to anti-normal. There we go. This burn would be in 81 years. Hang on. That is not correct timing. Why would this burn be in 81 years? Oh, we want this orbit here. Where's it flickering to? Here? Okay. That's exciting. There we go. Now we're in the correct area, I think. Exciting. Yes, that is correct. In 24 days. That's a little bit more like it. 81 years is a little long for these guys to be orbiting the sun. No doubt about that. So let's get this inclination change done here in a moment. We've got about 18 more days on our warp, and we can see Kerbin just slowly fading into the distance there. I like it. 2 weeks to warp here. This is not the fastest of warps. I'm not sure why this isn't warping at maximum speed right now, but whatever. It's going to be a 45-second burn, and this is going to burn another 300 meters per second out of here, which is all complete. We have oxidizer in this tank. I did not realize that. That is wasted weight. Okay, well, it's not a huge amount, but that is definitely wasted weight. Okay. Well, sure. We can still make this happen. It's not a big deal. It's just an inefficiency, not the end of the world. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and mark. Cool. So let's change our inclination here to match that of Eve. 150 meters per second to go. 100. 50. I'm coming out of physics warp here. Okay. Let's see what our actual inclination is at. 0.0, good enough. So at this point, what are we going to see if we attempt to rendezvous? It's probably going to be really wacky. That's not tremendously wacky, actually. Looks like a rendezvous somewhere around here, a little further along, but somewhere around here, that would be functional. That's only in 193 days. Not too bad. Now, this is not the final orbit that we want to be targeting. We can definitely fine-tune that in a little bit. Where is our node at? There's our node. We can fine-tune that in a little bit here by doing something along the lines of this. I'd like to bring that in. That's still a pretty far orbit there. I want to target like 200 kilometers. I don't want to be like dangerously close to the atmosphere, but I want to be reasonable here. Okay, we can definitely dial this in a little bit. Get it a bit more equatorial. Maybe not that equatorial. Okay, something along the lines of this would work reasonably fine. I like this orbit. I think this is a good one. So we would target this, and that's going to be in 193 days. Okay, let's just get into position here. It is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to do that. And when we come back, the time warp here is going to have been cut out. So we are going to come back right as we're ready to start this burn. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, James, Shadowwolf, MLohan80, Rogue Corvid, Kintogan, Andy Magar, Spartan News, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, Soccerman12UK, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.